The following video demonstrates how to assemble the Newmans Bunk Pontoon trailers. Refer to the associated service manuals for more details. To attach the axles, the trailers must be elevated for easy access to the underside. The parts supplied with the trailer should be laid out and ready for easy access. First, attach the winch post on the tongue of the trailer. The feet plates on the lower section of the winch post should be aligned with the holes on the trailer tongue. Insert the U-bolts up from the bottom and place washers and nuts on them. Screw down the nuts to just snug the winch post in place. The winch post will have to be moved later as to specifically fit the size of the boat. Once the lower section is attached securely, position the carpeted bow stop to the lower section. Fasten it securely with 2 bolts. Washers should be placed on each end of the bolts along with the nuts on the open ends. Tighten them down securely. When mounting the axles, you will need to measure diagonally from the center of the coupler to the center of the front spring hanger for proper alignment. Improper alignment will cause the trailer to dog track, which will cause premature wear on the tires. The spring axle will be attached to the spring hangers and will be held in place by 9/16" shackle bolts, which have serrated heads. These keep the bolt from slipping when it is inserted completely. Lift the axle and align the axle end holes with the forward set of hangers and then insert shackle bolts through the holes. Use a hammer to push them all the way through so the head is flush with the hanger and the threads on the end are exposed out the other side of the hanger. Once these bolts are secure, swing the axle to position it with the rear hangers. The rear axle end holes will connect to the hangers with shackle plates held in place by shackle bolts as seen here. Work the bolts through the hole until they are completely in and the threaded end is exposed. Place another shackle plate on the ends of the shackle bolts. Screw locking nuts onto the ends of the bolts. There is a groove cut into the side of each locking nut which identifies the outside edge. When assembling a tandem axle trailer, the previous steps will be repeated. In this case, there will be 3 sets of spring hangers. The center spring hangers will have equalizer arms mounted on them with shackle bolts. Attach the shackle plates to the equalizer arms. The rear axle will attach directly to the rear hangers and then swing forward to attach to the shackle plates on the equalizer arms. The wheels can now be mounted. Screw the tapered lug nuts onto the lug bolts, tapered side in. Tighten down the lug bolts by partially tightening every other one to keep the wheel on straight. On the second pass, tighten the nuts down 90 to 100 foot-pounds depending on the rim size. Refer to the manual for more information. The lug nuts should be checked later at 10, 25, 50 miles, and then periodically after that. Note: the Newmans Pontoon Bunk Trailer is designed to allow the complete axle assembly to move forward or backward so proper weight distribution can be achieved. The rule of thumb is to try to have 10% tongue weight on the hitch. This will take some experimentation because of the various pontoon configurations and boat motor sizes. When possible, on tandem axle trailers, load should be placed to apply equal weight on the tires to prevent unequal or premature tire wear. Tighten down all the nuts by holding secure the hex end of the bolts as you screw tight the nuts. To assemble the bunk pads, you'll need to know the center line of the pontoon tubes for proper location. Then locate the bunk pads by measuring the same distance from the center of the trailer to the center of the bunk pads. The bunk brackets are slotted to allow for the adjustment needed for proper location. First, cut the straps to free the bunk pads. The side pads will be attached via U-bolts. Be sure to place the U-bolts to the rear side of the cross beams to keep the pads from sliding forward. The U-bolts will come up through the brackets of the bunk pads and fasten down with washers and nuts. Each side will have 4 U-bolts attached to the bunk pad brackets. Be sure to place the rear 2 U-bolts just behind the cross beams. Tighten all these nuts securely. Place the center tube guides on the middle cross beams as seen here. The side of the pads where the posts connect and the fabric seams are located are placed on the inside. Snug the pads in place with bolts, washers, and nuts. The center pad should be left loose to be adjusted to the actual size of the pontoon boat. The wheels can be lubricated by pulling off the rubber plug of the center cap and connecting the grease gun to the grease zert in the center of the spindle. Then pump grease until excess can be seen pushed out through the seal. After checking the tires are properly inflated, the trailer is ready to be wheeled away.